We should all celebrate changing our minds when the information changes or when our understanding of that information changes. And Pam Hemphill is somebody that I've absolutely changed my opinion about. Welcome once again to the Dollemore Daily. I am Jesse Dollemore. If it's not once again, welcome. If this is the first time you've ever been here, consider subscribing at the end of this video if you think it's worth it. Let me begin today where I ended yesterday, talking about the January 6th, 2021 insurrection against the United States, the attempted overthrow of our government by way of overturning a free and fair settled American election. An insurrection in which 1,500 plus people ended up being pardoned. And that's what I want to talk about. Yesterday, I went to the United States Capitol, just blocks away from my house, and I talked about the events that day and how Republicans have completely changed their tunes, because on that day, they were apoplectic. They were beside themselves. They were harumph. I can't believe that Republicans would do the thing that we accuse Democrats of doing constantly. And after Donald Trump pardoned 1,500, many violent white supremacist nonsense chaos agents, there was one woman from my home state of Idaho who did not accept a pardon, indeed refused a pardon from Donald Trump. She wanted to have a mea culpa. She wanted to accept responsibility for her crimes. She turned away from MAGA, admitting that she had been led astray. Pam Hemphill is her name. They called her the MAGA granny. And for years, I've been very skeptical, even critical of Pam. I've thought of her as a grifter and an opportunist, someone who is just trying to seek fame to get the spotlight off of her, the negative spotlight off of her. And yesterday, after I finished that video, I bumped into Pam, steps away from where I was filming, and got a chance to actually say the things I just said to her face. I'm going to show you that 4 or 5 minute interview, it was just impromptu on the street. I had to roll up a piece of paper that I have and attach my mic to it on the end. That's how impromptu it was. But before I do, if you're not familiar with her, let me play you a minute and a half of her testimony before the House of Representatives yesterday, talking about having been led astray, having been gaslit by Donald Trump and MAGA, and accepting responsibility for her wrongdoing, which is something I think we're just in short supply of in American politics today. So let me start with that. Here's Pam Hemphill, and this isn't even the entirety of it. You could find this online. I would suggest you do, because there is nobility in what you're getting ready to watch.
My name is Pam Hemphill. I'm a mother and a grandmother and a cancer survivor and a retired addiction counselor. I am also a convicted criminal for what I did on January the 6th, 2021. Thank you for having me back to the Capitol today. I am deeply grateful for this chance to try to make amends and talk about what happened 5 years ago. Once I got away from the MAGA cult and started educating myself about January the 6th, I knew what I did was wrong. I pleaded guilty to my crimes because I did the crime. I received due process, and the DOJ was not weaponized against me. When Donald Trump pardoned us, I rejected the pardon. Accepting that pardon would be lying about what happened on January the 6th. I am guilty, and I own that guilt. 5 years ago, I traveled from Idaho to D.C. to see Donald Trump speak. I had fallen for the president's lies, just like many of his supporters.
She didn't just say that. There was another moment where she talked about, you can't gaslight me. I was there. I saw police fall to the ground and be pepper sprayed and beaten and attacked. I saw that from my own eyes, which is wonderful to hear from someone who was there, someone who was part of the movement, who was then turned away. Anyway, I think it's important because one, it's a reversal of opinion on my part, and I think we should all celebrate changing our minds when the information changes or when our understanding of that information changes. And Pam Hemphill is somebody that I've absolutely changed my opinion about. So here it is, me bumping into her and having a brief conversation.
Pam, fellow Idahoan.
I'm sorry.
You see?
You definitely my favorite.
They hate me in Idaho.
I got you. They hate me in Idaho, sister.
So you see, you guys can go join together.
I did want to say this, though, and we're on camera, just to let you know. I have, but I wanted to say this. I have been, let me put this here.
You saw today's testimony?
You're fine.
Oh.
I did want to say that I in the past have been super critical of you. I thought, I said, grifter, she's just looking for 15 minutes. And then when you refused the pardon,
You say it a lot.
it said everything.
Yeah,
Because so many people are trying to enrich themselves, they're trying to self-aggrandize, they're trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, and you didn't do that. And for me, I had a lot of pride because there were Idahoans other than you who took part in the attempt to overthrow the United States government. And you stood up and you made Idahoans proud. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
You One, why are you barefoot?
I say the same thing. I say the same thing.
I wanted to be cute today.
I have gout and I'm wearing heels
So what are you doing out here today?
for the hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just played a clip of Raskin, and I'm glad that you're being the 15 minutes that you are getting is not to bolster yourself or your fame or whatever else. It's to actually stand for the truth. Well, there's two. You know your cohort here, that your former cohort, that they're
I don't see
traitors and dipshits. No.
Oh, well, hell yeah. Liars and for their own interest.
Yeah.
For their pocket. If I stayed MAGA, I'd be very rich. You got to see my...
Yes.
If I went MAGA, I'd be very rich.
Yes, if I was stayed MAGA, I would have been famous and lots of money.
Yep.
But it's not about that, and that would be shameful for any J6er to take a dime for being there on
They're going to get
January the 6th.
reparations.
Well, we need reparations in this country, just not for traitors to the country.
Exactly.
So let me ask you very quickly, and then I got to get back to the studio. But and you've probably said this in many interviews, but what was the seminal moment? What was the thing that you realized? Oh shit, I've been led astray.
I was still hanging on to that victimhood. I wouldn't push barriers. I wouldn't have hurt officers. And when I was in my office with my therapist, and he looked at me and said, "Miss Hemphill, you're not a victim of January the 6th. You were a volunteer." And I got mad at him. I walked out of the office. I said, "I'm not seeing Dr. Rice no more. I wouldn't have done all those things." And I got home that night and I started praying and did some writing and asked God to forgive me.
Thank you.
He was right. I broke the law.
Thank you.
That's all there is to it. I broke the law.
I wish more was like you.
What was
The therapists are good.
what was the reaction when you refused the pardon? Like what was your family reaction? What were some of the individuals who you were here with? What did you hear from them?
My family told me I've lost my, I won't say the word, mind.
I can say it. You lost your fucking mind, right? It seems to me you gained your fucking mind that day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, they're so angry at me. The smear campaign is beyond what you can imagine. The lies that are out there about me. I'm a liar. I work for the FBI. You know that, don't you?
Oh, I've been called a Fed so many
I
times.
love that one. I had to make a decision when I went on CNN the very first time that I had to make amends. You just don't say you're sorry. You know what it's like to get out there in media, Pam? Oh my God, your reputation, threats, you could be killed. But however, what the officers went through that day, that's the least I can do.
Yeah.
Is speak up and be honest about what happened that day.
Well, I appreciate it. Can I give you a hug?
Oh, look at that. I love it. I love it. Aren't you glad
Can I say this?
interrupted you?
Can I say this for
Yeah,
you?
sure.
She reclaimed her soul.
Yeah.
And that's what America needs to do. That's what the 77 million people who voted for him, America needs to reclaim its soul, because America does not reclaim its soul, we're going to be in anarchy. And and we cannot have a pedophile piece of scum continue to lead this country. And it's an insult. He is a direct insult to everyone who's ever had a brain cell. Is Donald Trump. He has to go. So America, reclaim your soul.
Let's end it with your flag.
Hey, Trump.
Well, all of us.
Reclaim your soul, America.
Reporting live from the United States Capitol with his fellow patriots.
This is what we need.
See you next time.
That's what we need.
Reclaim your soul, America.
I want to be more effusive. I want to really, but she gets it,
Donald Trump is a lunatic. In years to come, we will look back on this time in American history. I don't know if it's going to be 15 or 20 or 25, 100 years from now. And we'll think to ourselves collectively as a nation, what the f were we thinking putting that madman in charge? This madman. And yes, that is a real photo, as is this one, from yesterday when he addressed the House Republican caucus, speaking to professionals, speaking to members of the Republican Party who hold high, elevated, lofty positions within our government, elected to represent constituencies all across our great republic. And he did this.
And I have to say this, the dancing they really like. She said they don't like it, they're just being nice to you. I said, that's not right. The place goes crazy. They're screaming, dance, please. But the weightlifting, but no, the girl gets up. And you see, I want to be more, but I have somebody watching. I want to be more effusive. I want to really, but she gets it, drops the thing, walks off the stage crying. Her mother's crying, her father's crying. Guy gets up. They said, have you lifted before? A little bit. And he walks up, he could have gone ding, 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 ding. I think it was 112 pounds, huh? It's crazy.
It's crazy, all right. It's crazy. Almost as crazy as Donald Trump asserting with the flapping hole, the gummy, flappy, lip-fueled nonsense that falls under his nose, talking about canceling the election in the midterm. And not just canceling the election, but whining that if he were to actually explicitly call for canceling the election, people in the media would say, oh, he wants to cancel the election. Yeah, that's the way it works in a democracy. When a demented lunatic who thinks he's a king wants to cancel the election, they're going to report on it in an alarming way.
We had the worst president, did the worst job. They had the worst policy. We have to even run against these people. Now, I won't say cancel the election. They should cancel the election because the fake news will say, he wants the elections canceled. He's a dictator. They always call me a dictator. Nobody's worse than Obama and the people that surrounded Biden. Not Biden. I don't think it was Biden. He didn't know what the hell was going on, okay? The election was rigged. He had no idea what happened. He still doesn't. The auto pen. And by the way, you ought to make a big deal out of the auto pen. The auto pen was your president because most of the things were signed by auto pen. And you're not allowed to do that. I signed very little. Now I just sign everything because it's just so crazy.
What is so confounding for the addled brain of Donald Trump to understand that if an elected president asserted to cancel an election, something that is not within his power, within anybody's power, that would be something to report on. Well, then if I tried to cancel the election, they'd call me a dictator, he whines. Yeah, because that is what you would try to be, Donald Trump. And this is the man that they see fit to run our foreign policy, to post on his owned True Social, his social media platform, that we are going to steal the oil of a foreign country. The man that just asserted interest in canceling the election, this guy posted this on True Social. I am pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as President of the United States of America to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. I have asked Energy Secretary Chris White to execute this plan. Immediately, it will be taken by storage ships and brought directly to unloading docks in the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. It reminds me of when I used to do the red-faced rage, reading statements from Donald Trump when he wasn't president. But this is obviously unconstitutional. That Donald Trump, as president of the United States, does not have constitutional authority to raise revenue through any means whatsoever. That is in the sole purview, according to Article 1 of the Constitution, of the Congress. The Congress has the authority under the Constitution to levy taxes, to deal with raising revenues for the country. Donald Trump is not in that position. And for him to say that he's going to go outside and make business deals with countries, which is ultimately what this, under coercion, under threat of force of our United States military, it's unconstitutional. It's un-American, some would say. But those who are constitutional purists, where are they? Where are the people who act like the pocket constitution crowd? Where are they to speak against Donald Trump? Where's your Mike Lee and your Ted Cruz and your Rand Paul? Well, Rand Paul might actually be there to talk about it, but the rest of them are just suckling at the teats of Donald Trump, trying to imbue, oh yeah, give me that power. Yeah, give me that influence. Give me that connection to Donald Trump. I got a few takes here from people across the internet, and all of this is stuff that I agree with, but I wanted to highlight some opinions that you don't have to just rely on me that this is batshit crazy, that this is unconstitutional, that this is misaligned, disaligned, unaligned with normal behavior, and also just respect for the oath that he took for the Constitution. Let's start with Matt Gertz from Media Matters. Shaking down a country for its national resources under the explicit threat of further military strikes to fund a presidential slush fund. That's exactly what that post on Truth Social just indicated. Ron Filipowski, he's over at Midas Touch. This is blatantly illegal. A president can't go into the oil business and then decide where to spend the money. We are completely untethered from our founding document with a lawless president and a Republican Congress, which has abdicated all constitutional authority. Where's he wrong? Anybody. Even the Trump trolls who dutifully watch every single second of my content. Aaron Rupar does fantastic work across the internet, keeping people aware of what Donald Trump is doing and the Republicans. If Trump is really stealing spending power from Congress, then it would be insanity for Democrats to vote to fund the government later this month. Shut it down until the president stops wiping his ass with the Constitution. This is the point I chose to end on because I fully endorse this idea. We need Democrats to step up, especially in the face of a Republican Party and a Republican propaganda operation. Fox News, CBS News, Newsmax, OAN, all across the board are trying to justify this as normal, as justifies, as constitutional, as basically generally legal. And it is not. Here is Jesse Waters making about the weakest argument I've heard on the matter.
They are mad that we're taking the oil. What do you think this economy runs on? Solar panels? You think we're going to win the AI race with China with windmills? Did the Democrats even build any windmills in 4 years? Did the Democrats build anything? How about being proud to be an American?
Yes, Jesse Waters, you sausage arm rube. Of course, people are mad that we're trying to steal the oil from a sovereign nation that is not ours. And no one believes that our economy runs on this or that. It doesn't matter. If that were the bar, we would invade Saudi Arabia and take their oil. We would invade the United Arab Emirates and take their oil. We would invade Norway, which we may do, and take their oil. Just because Venezuela is in a vulnerable position doesn't make us justified as the bully in our hemisphere that no one can do anything about it, and that's the justification. That's nonsense. That's not how to run a country. That's not how to be a good neighbor and friend. If we wanted to do the right and noble thing, we would prop up somebody there. We would put somebody in place. We would formulate a situation in which an election, a democratic election, could take place in Venezuela. Instead, Donald Trump's running the show. Donald Trump, who still intends to violate the Constitution by true social edict. He's not even being shy or obscure about it. It's just public, rampant defiance of the Constitution at every single turn. Madman, to be sure. And in 100 years, we will be thinking to ourselves, what did we do? What was happening in the country and the culture for us to think this was the way forward? This clear fraudster, this convicted felon, this credibly accused rapist of children, certainly of women. Over 24 women have come forward. I mean, 100 years time, I hope before that. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below the video. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
Another moment in American history that Donald Trump can be proud of, that Tom Homan can be proud of, that Kristi Noem can be proud of, that Pam Bondi can be proud of, that Kash Patel can luxuriate in his pride about. A citizen was murdered at the hands of Donald Trump's masked secret police in the streets of Minneapolis, Minnesota, just moments ago. This is the killer, by the way. I'll play this video very quickly to give you eyes on who did it. There's no allegedly. We watched him do it. And I'm going to play the video at the end. This will certainly get demonetized because of the fact that I'm not going to hide the fact that the government is now snuffing out American citizens in the streets of American cities. Why should we? We can't show it. That's too crass. That's not the decent thing to do. The decent thing to do would be ignore the murder of individuals on the streets of American cities by Donald Trump's masked secret police. Here is the man who pulled the trigger.
You! Shame! 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 Shame!
And by the way, they're already clearing the scene just an hour or so removed from the crime. The feds are clearing the evidence so it cannot be investigated. There are many angles of the video that we could see. We know what took place. It is clear beyond a shadow of a doubt. And the officials in Minneapolis are incensed, to say the least. Jacob Fry had this to say with a very clear message to ICE about getting the fuck out of the city.
But I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave.
That's a clear, resounding message to ICE that needs to reverberate in all of our minds, in all of our hearts, come from all of our mouths. Get the fuck out of our cities. You are not welcome here. The job you purport to do, you are doing the opposite. You are creating chaos. You are creating harm. You are creating fear. You are sowing division. Your dear leader intended for this to be the case, you Nazi fucks. We heard from the mayor of Minneapolis. Let's hear from the Secretary of Homeland Security as she cosplays a cowgirl with her giant 10-gallon hat atop her head without any information. This is an hour or so ago, before she had any concrete information about what took place. She's already calling this an act of domestic terrorism. I would agree. I would just say that the domestic terrorist is the one who pulled the trigger and not the one who was brutally murdered.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well.
Nothing they say you can take it with to take it with a grain of salt would be too much credit, too much fairness and charity for these Nazis, for these garbage fascists. And look, they're going to say that, oh, she was trying to run him down. You're going to see the video. She was not trying to gun him down. He steps into the way of the vehicle and fires shots. In fact, let me show you where the gunshot in the windshield was. If he was in danger of being killed by a vehicle, the gunshot would be right in dead center mass of the windshield. Instead, it's almost at the rear view mirror, at the side view mirror. Watch this from CNN earlier.
It did not appear that she was armed, and she was apparently, according to the police chief, driving off from where these officers were. It seems like that's a far more nuanced situation than what DHS has put out there in their statement, what we heard from Secretary Noem.
Well, first of all, DHS, as I said before, was premature in their comments.
The placement of that gunshot looks as though he could have just stepped to the side. But because he's an ICE agent, likely illiterate, likely has a criminal record based on these new recruits and all of the information we're receiving about them, he was not smart enough to cognitively process the fact that he could just step to the side and thought, maybe just murder this person who, by all accounts, maybe was just a protester. Maybe he was just a citizen. Maybe he was an observer of what was taking place. If your blood's not boiling that yet, let me share you this. The mushmouth dildo with ears, Tom Homan, was on Hannity last night and promised on the eve of a murder of a United States citizen, on the eve of her killing, the gunning down of this individual, said to Hannity, "Sleep well, America, because we're keeping America safer." Talked about 10,000 new ICE recruits flooding the zone, and it's about to get a hell of a lot bigger, he said.
And this should come as no surprise to the American people. You and I spoke months ago. I made a promise that we would flood the zone of every sanctuary city in this country is bringing thousands of more agents, 10,000 more agents because of the big, beautiful bill. Why Minneapolis? Why are they being prioritized right now? Because billions of dollars fraud has been uncovered. And what they need to be concerned with, Tim Walz says he's not going anywhere. Well, either am I. Either is President Trump. Either is Pam Bondi. Either is KRISTI NOEM'S. So we're there because of the priority census, right? But that show is going on the road. So if the Democrats are having a fit now, you better get counseling, because this is about to get a hell of a lot bigger throughout this nation. That show is going on the road. I actually think Minneapolis is the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to find a hell of a lot more in Illinois, New York, California. We'll see. But this operation will go nationwide. We're going to keep our promise. And because President Trump is sitting in the Oval Office, every American put their head on the pillow tonight, knowing the Border Patrol is on that border, stopping all threats coming across, most secure border in history of this nation. ICE agents and FBI agents are working 24/7, 365, every hour of every day, taking public safety threats and national security threats off our streets. Sleep well, America, because we're keeping America safer. So we're doing exactly in Minnesota what we're going to do nationwide.
I'll tell you who shouldn't be sleeping well, Tom Homan. You. Donald Trump should not be sleeping well. KRISTI NOEM'S should not be sleeping well. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, the rest of these fascist fucks should not sleep well. And the reason they shouldn't sleep well is because the American citizenry is waking up. Of all the cities to inflict this trauma against, Minneapolis ain't it. This was the aftermath while the agents, the murderers, and the accessories to the crime were attempting to flee the scene of the crime, and the citizens were not taking it. You'll hear in the background of this brief clip people saying they can't kill us all. These Nazi fucks can't kill all of us. And whether you literally take that into your day and embody that message, it needs to be embedded in you, in your spirit, to invigorate you, to fire you up, to get involved, to get active, to get organized. This is our country. They can't kill us all. They can't kidnap us all as much as they would like. Watch this.
Shoot someone else and kill them! You're gonna murder someone else! You're gonna shoot someone else! Come on! Kill us all! You can't kill us all! You can't kill us all, Nazis! You can't kill us all! That's a
And look, if you haven't seen it, again, I believe is it our civic duty right now to tell the truth, to live in reality, to deal with reality on reality's terms. And this longer clip is the moment that it happens and the aftermath. And we owe it to ourselves to view these things as they happen, as they are. When the American government is murdering citizens, it's not the decent thing to do to not show the video. Now, there's no blood, but it is violence at the hands of armed agents of the state, masked, armed, secret police of Donald Trump. Watch this.
Dude. Okay. Dude, you shot her. I'm trying to help. No, no. You fucking shot someone in the fucking face. You shot someone in the fucking face. Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? Don't let the murderer leave! Don't let the murderer leave! You guys are the fucking criminals! You don't get to tell us what to do! Fucking criminals! Don't let him leave! Don't let him leave!
Pussy motherfuckers, man!
No! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Yeah, it's a fucking crime! We fucking know it! We're here!
Horrific. Let this be an inflection point for you, because we know it won't be an inflection point for the administration. We know Donald Trump's not going to lose a second of sleep worrying about the welfare of American citizens. All he cares about is creating his white fucking ethno state. I'm going to go. I want to hear from you. If you're in Minneapolis, I want to hear from you. Let's talk about this. Find someone who may be in need because of the trauma that this induces on people. And I'm not even talking about the victims who are direct victims. Wrap your arms around them. Be genuine. Take care of one another.
Well, the governor of California says, bring it on.
Oh, we'll be there. We think that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I guess if you dress up like you're an urban combat vet, that you're a tactical operator going house to house, kicking indoors. I guess if you dress like that, it just kind of, you kind of start embodying this badass way of being, this tough guy way of talking. And KRISTI Noem is certainly not immune from whatever weird hypnotic thing takes over them when they start dressing like they're special operators. Because last night, KRISTI Noem was on with Jesse Waters, and as an aside, how bad does she feel about herself? How much disrespect does she have for the creation that God has made that she feels the need to improve upon the work of God? With her fillers and her long fake hair. I mean, maybe the goat she killed from her book, she actually killed it because it was a long-haired goat and she needed to harvest its hair to put atop her head. Maybe she killed it for the cosmetic uses of the fats and the collagen inside the body of the goat so she could inject it into her stupid fucking face. I don't know, but it is very bizarre to me. Here's a still from the interview you're getting ready to see, and it is, you might not know what she used to look like. I mean, these are pictures of what she used to look like. And now she looks like the lady who got all the plastic surgery to make herself look like a lion. I mean, I guess if we're looking on the bright side, it would be it is an absolute miracle that she found her upper lip, I guess. Praise Jesus. The woman has an upper lip now, I guess. She was on with Jesse Waters, I guess in support of this also insanity, and threatening Gavin Newsom, leveling threats against a seated, duly elected governor. It's always remarkable to to marvel at the hypocrisy of Republicans, because I can tell you, when Kristi Noem was a governor of South Dakota, she would have been outraged at the violations of the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, which states roughly that any power that is not granted, specifically granted to the federal government or specifically denied to the states, that power is then for the states to possess. This was the entire crux of Republican ideology for decades. And now it doesn't matter because Trump's in office. So here she is threatening Gavin Newsom, a current fellow governor. She's a former governor. Here she is threatening a governor with her new executive authority at the Department of Homeland Security.
And thank God we have a president that wants to make America safe again for every single citizen, regardless of where they live.
Well, the governor of California says, bring it on.
Oh, we'll be there. We think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Minnesota is unbelievable what we've seen, but it is leading us to networks all over the country and overseas, and we're going to follow every single one of them. Homeland Security Investigations is an incredible team of individuals who go after human traffickers, sex traffickers, but the fraud that we have in our public programs that are tied to California, absolutely. We're going to come to you, Governor Newsom, and we're going to arrest every single individual that has ties to this kind of stealing of taxpayer dollars, and we will hold them accountable. We'll bring them to justice.
Good. I think you're going to hit the jackpot out there in the Golden State. Secretary Noem, thank you so much, and thank everybody on your team for us.
Yeah. One, I hate to break it to you, Kristi, but Gavin Newsom isn't afraid of you or Trump. Few Democrats are, because you are paper tigers who make threats. You are bullies. And like any schoolyard bully, which Donald Trump is, and you are trying your hardest to be, you punch them in the fucking face once or twice, and they cower. They are desperate to look like tough guys, though. The DHS Twitter account is just replete with propaganda video after propaganda video. Some of them are more slickly produced and professionally produced than others. Others are just vertical video zooming in as they're tactically operational. And now in Minnesota, watch this brief little clip from their Twitter account, and she is featured in it with her goat hair and her tactical gear and her wide flared cowboy jeans. It's all just embarrassing.
Had that 2x4 there, so it's out of the ordinary.
Yeah. What is that there?
And do you know why we're here today?
¿Sabes por qué estamos aquí ahora?
No, no sé. You will be held accountable for your crimes.
Vas a ser arrestado por los crímenes que tienes.
And we'll take you in for processing. Buena pregunta. Yo no cometí un delito aquí.
Dice aquí hacen con dinero. Okay.
We'll take you in.
What? Okay.
Yeah. And look, I would be remiss, I would be not doing my job well if I didn't also point out some of the members of the media that are trying to give an assist to the DOJ. The new Fox News, NBC Nightly News, they actually did a feature on the operations in Minnesota. And this is about as glowing coverage as you will receive. I mean, this is the kind of shit that would make Fox News think, ooh, that's a little gross. Watch this.
Are you aware of the crimes you've committed?
That's Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who deployed roughly 2,000 agents to the Twin Cities to conduct immigration raids and to assist in a widening fraud probe. 2,000 agents is enormous.
It is.
How do you justify that to the American taxpayer?
The American taxpayer is grateful that that resource allocation has been put here. We've never seen this kind of fraudulent and abuse of programs before in recent history.
Over the past 3 years, prosecutors here have charged more than 90 people, mostly Somali Americans, with fraud.
This is where we are. Multiple state media outlets just uncritically. They toss a couple questions in there that seem like they're trying to get to the truth, but this is just in service to the administration. This is just in service to having Donald Trump look kindly upon them from his throne as the dictator of America. It is gross. It is embarrassing. And they will also be remembered in decades time, probably before that, once Tony DeKoppel's ratings start to absolutely crater. I mean, he hasn't even been there long enough for them to build ratings, but it's just gross. It is just undemocratic. This is not living up to the standards that the Constitution protects of the rights of the free and fair press. And they know it. They know it. They know what they're doing. They know the things that they're doing are absolutely out of line with reality, for that matter. Anyway, what do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below the video, wherever you're watching it. If you're on Facebook, please like and follow the Dollemore Daily, where the videos are shared natively there, and you can just share them to your timeline if you are a Facebook user. I'm not encouraging you to start a Facebook account. That would be madness. That would be almost as mad as this. Don't be this guy, and start one afresh. You can also comment below YouTube and make sure you're subscribed. I would appreciate it very much.
Who's in charge of Venezuela? Donald J. Trump. If you defy him, what happened to Maduro is going to happen to you.
I know. People do not like when I criticize Democrats. A lot of people. I think my audience has found me because of the fact that I am not shy about leveling criticisms when they are indeed warranted. And there are many that are indeed warranted. I've called for Chuck Schumer's resignation. I've called for Hakeem Jeffries' resignation. Both of them need to be gone. I guess that you could stay in your position as the minority leader or as a senator and as a congressman from New York, from Brooklyn, Hakeem Jeffries. But you don't need to be in leadership. You're not up to the challenge. We need a wartime consigliere, as I've said many times. And I'm gonna give some praise here because I'm gonna play a clip from Tim Walz. I'm gonna show you how not to be in this moment. And I'm going to give you a reason why. And then we're going to cut to Tim Walz to show you how to act, how to talk, how to message to the American people to show them exactly what is happening right now. And not just after you've decided not to run for re-election. This might be somewhat of a slight criticism for Tim Walz, but I think overall he's done a pretty stellar job at messaging. I mean, he really was the drive behind the messaging and the virality of the Kamala Harris campaign, in my opinion. But let's start with Chuck Schumer here, who's asking for assurances from Republicans. We've seen all kinds of clip from Chuck Schumer where he's like, I really just need to talk to Republicans. And he's trying to appeal to decency with elected Republicans. He's trying to get them on their side. I really hope Republicans will do the right thing. Keep hoping, Chuck Schumer, keep hoping that they're going to do the right thing when time and time and time again, when year after year after year, when decade after decade after decade, they show themselves to be unreliable. They are not partners in governance, and Chuck Schumer just cannot seem to figure that out. Watch this very brief clip as he says what he says and then runs away from the microphone.
I asked for some assurances that they were not planning operations in other countries, and I named a few of the ones you mentioned, including Colombia and Cuba, and I was very, very disappointed in their answer. Thank you, everybody.
You were disappointed in their answer? What reality do you exist in? Minority Leader of the United States Senate, Chuck Schumer. What nonsense is this? What expectations do you have? You expect this guy to give you accurate information, to be a partner in governance? Watch Lindsey Graham.
Who's in charge of Venezuela? Donald J. Trump. Now, people from the regime, the old regime, are helping us. We don't want to put a bunch of troops on the ground. So we got people from the old regime helping us rebuild the country to transition to democratic elections. There will be regime change in Venezuela through the ballot box. But who's in charge of Venezuela? Donald J. Trump. If you defy him, if you're one of the holdovers and you try to undercut him, what happened to Maduro is going to happen to you.
If you defy Donald Trump, what happened to Maduro will happen to you. That's the guy that Chuck Schumer wants to appeal to. Please start acting correctly. No. The way we need to talk to and about Republicans is this way. While Tim Walz is not going to run for re-election to be governor, I really hope, and I appeal to you, sir, Tim, stay in politics, run for president, do something to keep the conversation moving forward with this kind of energy where he's talking about Republicans in a way that every Democrat should. Every member of Congress should talk about Republicans like this. Tell Americans where Republicans are about supporting policies that improve their lives and where they are not with supporting policies that improve people's lives. Watch Governor of Minnesota, who is now under siege from Donald Trump. His state is under siege from Donald Trump, talking about Republicans.
Here's the thing that I'm going to ask all of you is, Republicans want to tear this state down. Republicans want to tell you it's too dangerous to walk down the streets. Republicans want to tell you there's nothing good comes out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Republicans want to tell you everybody with brown skin is stealing money or that they're not welcome here. They want to do nothing to improve this state. Their idea of improving this state is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better. And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign? When does he take accountability for what he did? Because it isn't going to happen here in terms of us shying away from making the state better. So you'll get to see me more. The good news is on this is that I got no election to look forward to. I've been in front of you. I'll call on who I want to call on, and I'll watch what the press gets written, and we'll make sure that in this state there's full accountability for everybody. Because buck stops with me. I'm accountable for this. And because of that accountability, I'm not running for office again. But I have a year to continue to improve on a record that I think will stand up against anybody's, a record that has made Minnesota better, a record that makes people want to come here, and a record that has respected not only the dignity of people, but the idea of rule of law and camaraderie. So the one thing that I hate is anytime I get drug into being next to Donald Trump, God help me, I don't want to be judged against that guy. Judge me against an average Minnesotan going out to do their job every day and being decent to their neighbors. So thank you all, and we'll be back.
Thanks, folks. Appreciate it.
We got it.
Happy warrior, bringing joy and truth to governance. And look, a lot of people they're falling for the propaganda nonsense of the welfare fraud story that has been a story for years. For years, 2026, there's been reporting on this since 2022. It's not a new story. It's only being capitalized right now because Donald Trump thinks he can make some political hay out of it, as the saying, I think, goes. They don't care about this shit. If they cared about it, Brett Favre would be in prison right now for welfare fraud in Mississippi. Remember that story? Remember Brett Favre? They don't care. They only care when they can capitalize on it for politics. Just like Donald Trump says he's against drug trafficking, but then pardons a notorious drug trafficker, the former president of Honduras, because Donald Trump made money from that. More from Democrats of this every day, all day. Please. Chuck Schumer, please resign from your elevated leadership position. Hakeem Jeffries, please resign from your position. Stay in office, do your thing, represent your district. They elected you, but nobody elected you from a popular vote standpoint to be the minority leader. You're not entitled to that position, even less than you're entitled to your position as a congressman. We need leadership in this time, clear spoken, focused leadership. I know we can do it. Anyway, what do you think? Tell me where I'm wrong. I know I'm going to get pushback. That's okay. I welcome dissent.
Marco Rubio, we salute you. You're the ultimate Florida man.
In this new age, we need to be very adroit, skillful, artful, talented at spotting propaganda and propagandists, because it's getting more difficult as time goes on, as technology improves, as the media gets more clever about how they do things. And right now, it is maybe the worst time in American history for right-wing fascist enablers in the media. Got One America News and Newsmax and Fox News. Got Breitbart and the New York Post and the Wall Street Journal. There's a lot out there. And now we got CBS News. We've been talking about CBS News recently. Tony DeCoppel, defender of genocide, hater of the downtrodden, who's now been put, elite, went to Columbia, put there by an elite who went to Columbia, hired both of them by billionaires. Ellison, the billionaire Nepo baby. None of these people have any talent or ability, no merit to speak of. But they've been lucky enough to stumble ass backwards into their positions. Tony DeCoppel, it's not like shocking to me. I'm not surprised by it because he's always been kind of a dirtbag. But it is remarkable to watch the CBS Evening News on the day of the fifth commemoration, remembrance of the insurrection, the attempted overthrow of the United States government that we all watched, the violent insurrection. To watch Tony DeCoppel last night, both sides, the attempted destruction and end of democracy in America is just a marvel. Watch this.
Also tonight, 5 years after the January 6th attack, a group of pardoned defendants marched through Washington. President Trump today accused Democrats of failing to prevent the attack on the Capitol, while House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries accused the president of, quote, whitewashing it.
And the broadcast ended. Look, a lot of people are talking about the fact that CBS is really just in the tank for Donald Trump. They're just another element of propaganda for this administration. And it couldn't be more true or exemplary of that with this particular clip. They end the broadcast literally with him saying, "Marco Rubio, we salute you."
And only in America, the many lives and many jobs of Marco Rubio, the son of Cuban immigrants and a former Florida senator. He's now the face of U.S. foreign policy and President Trump's point man on Venezuela, all in addition to his roles as Secretary of State, interim national security advisor, and acting national archivist and USAID chief. Whatever you think of his politics, you got to admit it's an impressive resume. And now AI memes have added to that portfolio, casting Secretary Rubio as the new governor of Minnesota, the new Shah of Iran, the prime minister of Greenland, the new manager of Manchester United, the head of Hilton Hotels, and highest of high honors of all, the new Michelin man. Now, back in real life, of course, these memes may not add up to much, but for Rubio's hometown fans, which are many around here in Miami, it is a sign of how Florida, once an American punchline, has become a leader on the world stage. Marco Rubio, we salute you. You're the ultimate Florida man.
AI memes as you chuckle along and say, "We salute you, Marco Rubio." The Marco Rubio who only hours before dedicated a moment of a press conference talking about the invasion of Venezuela to say, "Hey, wait, everybody. You're next, Cuba. I would be worried if I was in Havana right now."
that helped protect Maduro. This is well known. Their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, they basically, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems that Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba that tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Cutting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's a pre-existing.
Mr. President? The answer is yes. Yes.
If I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned right now because of the impending invasion of the United States of America. What are we doing here, CBS? I salute you, Marco Rubio. I salute you. We salute your anti-democratic, unconstitutional, illegal invasion of many countries in our hemisphere. The vile, sickening threats of military force against sovereign countries who are sometimes even peaceful allies. We salute you, Marco Rubio. Remember when it was like before his first day on the job, when he was like, you can trust me and we're going to stop paying attention to experts. We're not going to listen to professors and people who study 1 or 2 or 3 topics extensively for their entire professional life. No. We're going to talk to MAGA. What do they think about everything? Yeah, well, apparently they hate experts so much that they can't even hire them to run their prompters because this was his first night on the job. Just egg on his face. I mean, at least he has a jacket on and you don't see his dinner plate nipples through his shirt with no t-shirt. The thinnest silk weird shirt I've ever seen on a professional anchor on a news show. What are you doing, dude? But here he is, and the whole broadcast just absolutely fucking falls apart. Because it's not a professional operation.
Hemisphere. With Maduro now out, that base of power and influence could be out too. All right, to other news, as you just heard from Jill. Well, to other news now, to Governor Walz. No, we're going to do Mark Kelly. First day, big problems here. Are we going to Kelly here, or are we going to go to Jonah Kaplan? We're doing Mark Kelly, possibly demoted from his retired rank of captain in the Navy. Hegseth issued what's known as a letter of censure for the Arizona Democrat over his participation in a video that called on service members to defy illegal orders without specifying which orders he had in mind. Hegseth called what the former combat pilot and astronaut did an act of sedition. Now we go to Minnesota. A surprise announcement from the Great Lakes State there today. Tim Walz, the 2024 Democratic vice presidential nominee.
Yeah, they definitely shit the bed on the first night. They're continuing to shit the bed as time goes on. But this is where it really gets depressing, is now we have to rely on, when CNN is your best choice for actual journalism, it should leave a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, how hard is it to do what I'm getting ready to play for you right now, which is from a couple days ago from CNN, who put together this mashup of a juxtaposition of Donald Trump, the version of Donald Trump who's against regime change versus the version of Donald Trump that we know now, who's fully endorsing regime change.
Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you. We believe that the job of the United States military is not to wage endless regime change wars. You have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say, but the cartels are running Mexico. We will stop racing to topple foreign, and you understand this, foreign regimes that we know nothing about, that we shouldn't be involved with.
There's been protesters killed in Iran.
If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States. Regime change in Iraq, regime change in Libya, regime change in Syria, and every other globalist disaster for half a century. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it. We're getting out of the nation-building business and instead focusing on creating stability in the world. The American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Stupid foreign wars in countries that you've never heard of. This Tuesday is your chance to stand up and declare that you're not going to take it anymore.
Thankfully, we didn't get a salute to Marco Rubio. Yes, sir. We're here at your beck and call, sir. We salute you. Nonsense. Anyway, I welcome you to this conversation. Let's have it in the comments below the video. If you're all over on Facebook, like and follow the Dollemore Daily Facebook page. We are, 60,000 now? We could be at 100,000 very, very quickly if you're already on Facebook. Don't go signing up. But if you're already there, like and follow the Dollemore Daily. Share these natively on Facebook. It's not a link. Facebook will promote it because it's on Facebook. And I would appreciate it very much. It does absolutely help the channel very much. It not just from exposure level either. Anyway, thank you very much. They just altered the rules because people are starting to put stickers over Donald Trump's face. Never was the rule before. It's a new rule because the dear leader cannot be mocked. Or can he? I've been talking a lot about Donald Trump and his effort to kingship, his path to sovereignty, his ability somehow to convince these MAGA Americans, that these people who were like, don't tread on me, that indeed he is the one to tread on them. He's hanging banners all over the city of Washington with his face on them. He's endeavoring to put his face on coins while he's still alive, while he's still president of the United States. He's illegally vandalized the Kennedy Center by putting his name next to John F. Kennedy on it, the Donald J. Trump John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Arts, the Kennedy Center. He's changed the Institute of Peace to the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace, all while attempting to start World War III. And the other thing that he's put his face on is the National Parks card. This is a card you could purchase to get access to our many, many, many beautiful national parks. They usually look something like this. We'll put this up on screen, where they show the beauty of the varied geography, topography of the United States, mountains and forests and lakes and rivers and streams and the wildlife, from lizards to polar bears. Right, it's just amazing what we have to offer in this country, what we can take advantage of in this country. And Donald Trump sees fit to put his face on it. Well, now we're learning, you've read the title, you've seen the thumbnail, you know what this video is about. Donald Trump is now threatening to cancel people's cards, people who are putting like a smiley face sticker over just a sticker on their own card. It's like having a membership card, putting something on your Costco card, right? Well, that's getting people in trouble, and they're getting threatened with cancellation of the card they've paid for to access our national parks because of besmirching the face of the dear leader. So what I've done, before I read this article to you, the insane thing that's happening right now, I thought I would create my own Donald Trump America the Beautiful National Parks card. This one was from yesterday. I don't know what he was doing. He certainly was a little off with the color, a little more orange than usual. Here's another one of my favorites from the campaign. Ooh, Donald Trump, please put something in my mouth. Hurry. Here's one that's more recent. A little dozy Donald Trump. If that's not your flavor, how about this one? Submitted without comment. If this one's too low res for you, how about this one, Donald Trump? Is this the one? Is this the National Parks card we should be showing? Huh, brother? Because this is what's happening right now. This is from San Francisco Gate. Department of Interior cracks down on stickers covering Trump's face on national parks passes. Your American the Beautiful pass could be voided, the headline reads. Covering up Donald Trump's face on an America the Beautiful pass may come with an extra cost at national park entrance gates this year. The Department of the Interior recently updated its void if altered rules for 2026. They just altered the rules because people are starting to put stickers over Donald Trump's face. Never was the rule before. It's a new rule because the dear leader cannot be mocked. Or can he? How would he know anyway? He's half asleep all the time. Recently updated its voided if altered rules for 2026, explicitly flagging stickers and other coverings as alterations that could invalidate the pass. The move appears to respond to visitors preparing to cover the image of Trump, which was set to begin appearing on passes January 1st, despite legal challenges. Because after all, this, well, not this, but no, not that. Where is it? This is illegal. An internal email from the department business specialists Allison Christophs and Jeff Beauchamps to regional National Park Service staff shared updated guidelines for passes this year, highlighting changes to the department's altered pass policy. The email was provided to SF Gate by a Park Service employee who requested anonymity to protect their job, which was granted in accordance with Hearst ethics policies. This is a Hearst publication. The Park Service's pass policy has long stated that passes can be voided if the signature section of the card is altered. But now the policy mentions stickers on the front of the pass as well. Quote, defacing the pass in any way, including writing on it or adding stickers or other coverings, is a form of altering the pass, reads the policy. Quote, altering a pass can cover up important information and required security features necessary to prevent fraud. Well, let me tell you, National Park Service, if you're trying to prevent fraud, then maybe don't have a convicted fraudster on the National Park Pass. Just a thought. Continuing with the article, it goes on to explain that staff members handed altered passes can make a judgment call on whether to accept them, assuming that all security features, a mountain-shaped foil hologram, some imprinted microtext, and the word interagency across the front of the pass in visible ink are all still visible. Staff members can ask visitors to remove any stickers or charge the visitor for a day pass or pass replacement. Elizabeth Peace, a senior public affairs specialist with the Interior Department, did not confirm the specific language in the policy that was changed this year, but told FS Gate that changes were made to clarify the existing policy. The changes, she said, provided additional clarification to help avoid confusion and support visitor interactions due to the volume of questions received from staff and visitors, she wrote in an email. You mean that they added additional clarification to help avoid confusion and hurt feelings from the Donald Trump? Peace did not respond to questions about the levels of fraud that led to the introduction of security features on park passes in 2017 or any details about fraud since then. The updated guidance arrives as some artists and small businesses have begun selling stickers designed to cover the image on the front of the America the Beautiful pass. Colorado ecologist and watercolor artist Jenny McCarty recently began selling stickers featuring scenes from national parks, saying the designs are meant as a form of protest and an effort to restore what she views as the pass's aesthetic purpose. Again, this would be the aesthetic purpose that this artist is talking about. McCarty told SF Gate in December that she has received more than 100 orders in 2 days, with proceeds earmarked for national park-related nonprofits. The employee who provided the emails to FS Gate said that they and colleagues are facing this issue for the first time, because we've never had a thin-skinned, narcissistic, megalomaniacal lunatic, a demented old bat as president of the United States. I've personally, they said, accepted passes that people put stickers on because they just like stickers. And it's never, been a problem, they said. If you buy a pass from REI, they have a little sticker on it that a lot of people don't take off. We've accepted those and never had a problem. The problem lies in the fact that you've accepted them when Donald Trump wasn't president, when the dear leader who must not be mocked was president. Anyway, let me say this. I should have done this earlier, for engagement's sake, for the YouTube algorithm trick. What do you think? What would be a good image to put on the card? I have a blank card. We could print up a whole bunch of them. Well, this is the goofiest one of all. Accurate. 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 Unfortunately, very accurate. And my favorite, the most accurate. Anyway, what do you think? I invite you to this conversation. You can give me your picks and your choices for what can go on a card below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Look, if we can't have a little fun in the midst of all the terror, then we'll just be terrorized and not be having much fun. I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Be genuine and take care of one another.